sure this pops up. There we go.
Yeah, we are good, and we got one extra subscriber.
Did we?
Yes, we are. We got 163 now.
Nice. Now I want to make sure that this actually does this. Just to see what's going on here. And I gotta get out of this stupid presenter view. This needs to go high presenter view. Get the laser pointer out. I gotta tell her that.
Gotcha.
Oops, sorry.
Oh, no worries at all.
My fucking knees are fucking crazy.
Not as fragile anymore.
Oops, I didn't say that live. Oh yeah, that's perfect.
Nice. We are set up and good to go.
Oop. Yep, that's perfect.
Awesome. Good morning, everybody here on the East Coast. We just reached a little past midnight here on the East Coast, and other parts of the world. Good morning as well. And people watching here on the West Coast. Good evening to you as well. As it's still Sunday night there, and hope you guys are having a good morning, good evening, wherever you guys are at, everywhere in the world. We're going to be looking at a couple of things today here in the United States here as a possible real potent cold front passing by here. It is a multi-storm system here as we expect real strong blizzard-like conditions here in the northern plains as we look at the Dakotas for potential crippling snow event. I seen before we went on the air, potential up to 3 feet of snow there. And we're also looking at the potential for...
over an inch of ice.
Oh yeah, that's definitely in the northern Iowa area. We'll take a look at that later on. And there's also severe thunderstorms we're going to be looking at throughout the Gulf Coast here as we look at Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, and even parts of Alabama, Mississippi getting into the act as well. Could be expecting a potential tornado outbreak for those area. And we'll get into those details as we carry on. So hope you guys enjoy the stream. Thank you guys so much for watching this live with us or watching live after the fact. We definitely appreciate you guys showing us support here as we grew a lot in the past 40 hours. Just want to give a shout out to Dark Waters if you're watching this. You've been a huge mentor for us so far, just showing us the way. I just wanted to, me and Zach definitely want to thank you for that as well. And
yes, sir.
Hope you guys enjoy it tonight.
Definitely thank you for that introduction, brother.
Absolutely.
Definitely appreciate that. Yeah, as Justin said, we definitely thank you guys. Definitely appreciate everything that you guys have done so far. From going from 19 subscribers to over 160 within 24 hours. It's definitely it's definitely amazing to see that kind of stuff happen. Just spreading information like this and being able to engage with you guys. So it's definitely going to be interesting, and definitely greetings, Keith. Definitely good to see you, brother.
Absolutely, always good to see you.
All right, so guys, we got a big bowling ball trough coming in. You can see here, this is the 500 millibar analysis. This is over the next couple days. You can see this massive system definitely getting its act together, strengthening as it comes in, becoming a Colorado low, and then pushing off to the north and northeast there. So it's definitely has a lot of energy with this system. So it's definitely producing blizzard conditions to the north, severe weather to the south, massive amounts of rain in the east, and some pretty good wind values as well across the Rocky Mountains there. And as it pushes off to the east, definitely going to create definitely some hazardous conditions all across the nation.
Yeah, even when this is over, you still got to worry about, like you said, those winds in the back half and a cold front behind the cold front, especially.
It's going to be
interesting what those wind values are going to be too. So.
Oh yeah, we'll have to take a look at that also.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. So this is the current location of this big bowling ball trough. Right where this X is, it's coming down. It's just making landfall into Northern California. But you can see this system definitely has a lot of energy on the back side of this. So this is exactly what you want to see during severe weather season, which is crazy enough to say in December.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely a huge omega pattern you see as well, just right behind there as well in the Ring of Fire area right there. You also got that huge dip in the trough right.
Oh yeah.
Going over right before entering California there. So definitely a lot of energy in the storm, like Zach said. Definitely one to look out for sure.
It's crazy. You got this big Rex block high pressure system up here too. So it's definitely, this system's actually going to be pushed up and then be pulled down to the south, and that's why we're getting all that severe weather. Because of this Rex block, it's actually going to follow this. You got the shortwave ridge pattern here. Then you got this big, massive Rex block high up here. So it's actually just going to follow this, and then as this trough actually starts eroding away this ridge, it's going to dip down to the south, definitely impact the deep south with some some pretty good severe weather. All right. Man, that's a lot of snow. All right, so this is precipitation type over the next 48 hours over the Mountain West and over the Pacific Coast here, guys. So you can see this low. Once this restarts, you can definitely see this circulation heading down to the south. But it's definitely bringing a lot of potent moisture with it from the Pacific, bringing in a lot of rain, especially for the coast here. And then you can see some of these snow bands starting to develop in Utah, Nevada, down through Arizona. So it's definitely going to be an interesting event here.
Yeah, so definitely heavier snow bands indicated in the darker blue. So definitely a lot of snowfall. Maybe if we can, I would get to the possibly the snowfall per hour rates.
Yeah,
That would be interesting to see as well. Going in depth in those for our friends in Nevada and New Mexico as well. Definitely getting hit as well as Utah as well.
And look at these snowfall accumulations, guys, just in some of these areas. Actually, right in this area right here is the big bullseye. These areas here can actually get upwards of 50 inches in Nevada there, so it's definitely an interesting event. They're actually getting more snow than the Sierra Nevada mountain range is, which is definitely an interesting aspect. It definitely looked like, hey, Dark Waters, what's going on, brother?
Glad you can make it on here for sure.
Oh, for sure. It's definitely good to see you. But yeah, look at these snowfall total amounts, guys. It's definitely gonna be a strong system as we start tonight into tomorrow. So let's take a look at this even more interesting event as we got going on here. But in the red, you can see these red circles here. Precipitation type, northern Nevada, definitely some heavy snow, and down into southeastern Nevada as well, and into the Sierra Nevada mountain range. And then even into portions of Utah here as well, and then even into Idaho, which you can see this big snow band right here. It looks like on this side, it's actually producing some lightning there as well. But this, on the right-hand side, the image here, this is lightning density, so we could definitely have some potential for thunder snow in some of these areas. So that's definitely going to be a dynamic system, guys.
Insert the Jim Cantori reactions. But definitely a good, if you can make it out so safe, it's definitely good skiing conditions as well, especially with combining with the fresh snow that's being made. So that nice fresh packed snow would be good for skiing conditions out in those areas as well. If you can do so safely, the roads are definitely going to be treacherous. So if you do so safely, definitely go take out and enjoy the slopes. Especially if they're open right now, some of the terrain might be open and ready to go. If not at full capacity, it's going to be close to full capacity there as well.
Exactly. Some of this terrain might actually become impassable over the next few, next 24, 48 hours. So definitely use caution out while you're out here driving. Definitely, for sure. But it's definitely interesting to see the lightning density starting to show up in Nevada and portions of California and Utah. You can definitely see how much energy this system has to produce thunder snow. Which is used to actually be somewhat of a rare event. Now it looks like we're getting
more and more common,
especially the last storm system we had that hit impacted Buffalo. There was massive amounts of snow.
Yeah, as they got over 60 inches of rain, which actually caused the Buffalo Bills-Detroit game to actually be moved to Detroit. So,
all right, guys. So moving on to Monday evening. This is the 500 millibar analysis. So you can see this big bowling ball trough starting to eject down to the south, and you can see this big ski jump pattern. That's what meteorologists refer to. Severe weather events like this, we get a ski jump. So you can see the wind actually being lofted up to the north. And this was actually going to create a massive severe weather event as this system ejects off and brings the winds up. It's going to bring in some of this, well, actually not some, but a ton of moisture from the Gulf. So it's definitely going to be an interesting event here, guys. And that takes us to the SPC outlook for Monday, which is definitely an interesting event here through Texas all the way up through Kansas as well. Let me see if I can pull up some of the SPC data. We could probably just do it on here. Huh?
Probably could.
Let me jump out of here real quick. Hopefully this works. Trying to get used to the actual setup of everything, but let's see here. There we go.
There we go.
All right, guys. All right. So as we said, taking a look at the 500 millibar analysis, a mid-upper level cyclone and associated long wave trough are forecast to move eastward from the Intermountain West towards portions of the Great Plains by early Tuesday morning. A surface low is forecast to deepen over the central high plains. But let's take a look at, before we get into any of those Tuesday events, let's take a look at Monday first, for sure. So definitely stretching from Texas all the way through Kansas, definitely going to be a major event. At least. And I honestly think, even Justin and I definitely agree on this, that we do believe that there is going to be a slight risk, most likely, maybe issued for later on today.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised looking at the photographs. So pretty much like a photograph just determines like, if there's like a curvature, the more like curvature the photograph is, the more likely you're going to experience like tornadoes or anything like that. And we experience like that, especially in the Wichita Falls area for Texas. We saw it's going to be an early Tuesday morning event, which I could see why they want to wait off the slight risk for Tuesday, but I can see it on Monday as well before it rescans, because what I saw before we went on the air was a tornado risk for Wichita Falls area at 3 in the morning, so right as people are expecting to go into bed, unless they might have changed that live right now, which happens sometimes.
No, the only issue with this is that the HRRR is only going out 10 hours right now, so we can definitely take a look at the NAM. The North American model, so we'll definitely see here. They should be updating. Hopefully they update this. Sometimes they don't update it. There we go.
Oh, yeah, right there. So you see it right there on the left-hand corner here. That's like your photograph here. So you see a large curvature right there. We have the one mark right there, which indicates tornado possibilities. As well, you see on the left, as you see in the kink right here, that's our elevated mix layer right here. So definitely the ingredients for a potential tornadic event are there, especially with the Cape, future Cape, that's going to be at a 1629. So with Cape value, it's right where you want it to be closely.
Exactly.
You kind of want to see those like 1,000, 2,000s, like where you get like severe weather. It's what you see like 2,500 to 3,000 we see in El Reno. That's where you're going to get the huge tornadoes amounts. So definitely before you even get to Tuesday, Monday night into Tuesday morning, you can definitely see I would wholeheartedly would potentially see a possible tornado, I would say, in the Wichita Falls area in the eastern parts of Texas.
Exactly, I agree with that.
And then eventually going out into northwestern Louisiana, even eventually possibly going into New Orleans on Tuesdays, even on
Tuesday
Wednesday.
night, yeah.
Yeah, the Wednesday would be under the gun as well.
We'll definitely go into that in more detail, but check out these SRH values of 429 for somebody. The El Reno event was 380.
See, that's going to be above El Reno. It's going to be crazy. And also, you got the shear levels right there. That's another big ingredient you need for tornadoes as well. What's the number on the top of your head that it needs to be like for like a tornado to really get its act together with shear wise? That it's like the perfect.
Like the SRH?
Yeah, I think we were.
Well, I mean, just to start out, you probably need about 170 or more.
So definitely right up in that area.
Just to start out, you need to be about a SRH value of 170. You can get tornadoes happen at lower values. Even Cape, sometimes you can have low values in Cape and have other ingredients, such as wind turning at different heights, wind shear, things like that. But yeah, I mean, the SRH values right now, just surface to 1 kilometer, the lower levels is 425. So I mean, it's definitely a big.
So that's definitely right up there.
And then these shear values right here, these only have to be about 17 to 18. Sometimes up to 25, depending on what location you are. But I mean, 39 is still.
So pretty much like double the what you really need. So definitely, I can see this going to slight risk, especially for Monday night to Tuesday.
Exactly.
And even like for later, as we were talking about earlier, possibly getting into a moderate risk for the areas of northern Louisiana and parts of that area. So the same HRRR models and the models of earlier, I would not be surprised if they get into a moderate risk, just seeing from the photographs and all the Cape values and the shear, just seeing.
Oh, for sure. I definitely think that. Especially for Tuesday and Wednesday, we're definitely going to see most likely a moderate risk develop down to the south. Which I'm not sure when the last time a moderate risk happened. December. I'm guessing it was probably last year.
Yeah, I'd say last year for that huge tornado outbreak that happened, almost in the same area, like in Arkansas, Tennessee, Kentucky. Definitely will be one to remember, one for the history books as well. So definitely going to be an interesting day for those as well. So. You can even do like a video later on, possibly a 1 year later, just to do a recap video of that.
I cannot.
I'm so sorry.
All right, guys. So let's take a look at this reflectivity value, indices into Monday night into Tuesday. But take a look at this. We highlighted this red area here, guys. You can see this is where some things can actually get concerning, because you can see this lift coming up from the south, and then you see this system coming in from the west. So it's definitely going to have some rotation and turning with the winds with the height. So that's going to create wind shear. So that's why we honestly think that we're going to see probably a slight risk introduced here in the next few hours from the SPC. Into this area, and these are actually prefrontal confluence bands, so it's definitely going to be developing before the frontal zone comes in. So we're definitely going to have that lift and that moisture necessary to create some pretty good thunderstorms, I'd say.
Might even see some feeder band as well on the
exactly,
especially so be interesting to definitely see how this plays out.
And just taking a look at some of these CAPE values. So CAPE is convective available potential energy. It's basically the amount of energy the atmosphere has at its disposal to create thunderstorms and severe weather events like this. And CAPE values play a pretty important role in snowfall as well. So we'll definitely take a look at that. But through central Texas, moving up through northeastern Texas, we have CAPE values ranging from 1,000 to 2,000 joules per kilogram. So I mean, anything over 1,000 is considered a buoyant atmosphere. Anything 1,500 to 2,000, definitely getting into the stronger buoyancy. And anything 2,000 or plus, you can see some pretty good tornadoes there. But I mean, for 2,000 joules per kilogram, some of these areas showing up here, I mean, that's pretty good. Absolutely. I mean, we just took a look at that photograph that had 1,629 joules per kilogram. So it's definitely a very juicy atmosphere for sure.
Not a shadow of a doubt.
And you can see some of these values getting advected from the Gulf onto the actual coastline itself here into Texas. And you can see those values are around the same as well. And you can see some of these values down here in the yellow and sort of the greenish areas. That's 2,000 to 3,000 joules per kilogram.
Yeah, these storms, it's definitely going to be acting like a sponge, just like absorbing the atmosphere pretty much. To feel these storms is how I like to explain it.
Exactly, yeah,
like a sponge, pretty much.
Exactly, yeah, it's a sponge, and it absorbs. It gives the atmosphere that ability to actually tap into some of those ingredients to produce severe weather. And then take a look at these torcon values, guys. We have torcon values, 30 to 40% chance of tornadoes tomorrow. So a torcon of 3 or 4. So I'm actually excited we got a chance to get our hands on some of these values.
Absolutely, and this is also why we think it's going to be a slight risk instead of a marginal risk that we have right now, is the fact that there is that 40% chance of tornadoes, which possibly could even be higher, I'd say, just seeing from the possibly even 50-60%.
Exactly.
I would even say.
But yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting dates later on today, moving into Tuesday. But let's take a look at Tuesday for sure. This is the day. Oops, excuse me. That's the day that's going to be definitely packing most punch, at least for now. But you can take a look at the 500 millibar analysis here, guys. Definitely a massive ski jump pattern here. But right down in here into New Orleans, Louisiana, all the way through Texas, stretching up through Arkansas, into portions of most of Mississippi, actually. And then this might actually start to rise to the north a little bit into portions of Missouri and into extreme portions of western Tennessee as well.
Yeah, some of these cities include Shreveport, which I was looking at really far into the detail before we even went on there. Shreveport definitely in the bullseye. Monroe possibly getting into Lafayette, Baton Rouge, even in portions of Mississippi and Alabama definitely look like the bullseye area for these storms on Tuesday.
Take a look at Louisiana for the. We got marginal severe. This is in northern Louisiana. This is near Jonesboro and Monroe. But you can see this massive elevated mixed layer here. It's definitely a couple kinks in it as well, which is actually going to help curve this photograph even more. So this marginal severe could actually go into... Yeah, I saw that too. You saw that?
Sorry, I saw the light flash there for a moment. Yeah, distracted me a tiny bit.
Maybe it's just the amount of power from the storm.
It could be more.
Oh, yeah.
Watching us throughout the storm with this...
But yeah, So we definitely see the surface Cape values at this time are 93 joules per kilogram. So it's not a very, very buoyant atmosphere, but we are going to increase down to, or up to, 1,104 joules per kilogram. So it's definitely going to become a buoyant atmosphere. I'm guessing that's why they have the marginal severe in place currently. We are still 2 days out from this, well, a day out from this event, so we're definitely going to look at the HRRR model later on today, so we'll probably do another video sometime, definitely for sure, to get this information out, guys.
And also, anything can change between now and Tuesday. We'll try our best to keep on top of it and give you guys the latest information, and also on our Facebook page as well.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely check out our Facebook page as well. We usually we have a lot of paragraphs of information there. That's at facebook.com at World Weather Authority. So definitely we have a lot of pertinent information on that page as well. Let's see here. One thing I'm trying to I have to figure out how to get more professional at the computer stuff. Alright guys, so this is the SPC outlook for Tuesday, December 13th. You can see that big area, the broad area of marginal risk, which is the dark green there. We do have a general thunderstorm risk, which, some of those areas, which I'm surprised they actually have a general thunderstorm risk in Iowa when we're expecting some snow to develop there. But the main threat, the main bullseye we're going to be taking a look at is Arkansas, southern Arkansas into northern and central Louisiana. So it's definitely going to be a big event there. We can take a look at the SPC, see what they're saying.
That right there.
There we go. All right.
So yeah, it looks like an upper low and associated broad belt of fast cyclonic flow is forecast to move gradually northeastward out of the central high plains across northwestern Kansas and Nebraska with time. As this occurs, a deep occluding surface low is forecast to take a similar track as an occluded cold front sweeps across the Kansas and the southern plains through the day, eventually reaching the middle and lower Mississippi Valley overnight. The front will focus widespread showers of thunderstorms, potentially severe weather south of the Ozarks. So portions of eastern Texas eastward across the lower Mississippi Valley, thunderstorms and possibly limited severe risk will be ongoing at the start of the period across portions of central Texas. Strong southerly flow ahead of the advancing will continue to that Gulf motion over, so pretty much that feeding of the storms like we discussed earlier, so that will pretty much give the storm some lift and definitely be active throughout those days as well. Likely hinder more robust northern advance in true warm sector. With that said, minimal heating combined with the moist low levels will result in modest Cape increases throughout the day. With storms moving across East Texas expected to gradually intensify in response, given favorable shear with the numbers we showed earlier as well, and veering and increasing substantially with height, rotating up drafts are expected, both with the primary likely to be linear bands of storms and any more isolated cells which may develop ahead of the main band. Along with the risk of damaging winds, tornado risk should also be gradually increased with time. And even seeing even past the front as well, we've seen some of the omega values definitely
for sure.
Increasing wind values as well. So it's going to be, even after the storms are gone, and it's going to be a high wind event as well.
Exactly.
And going back to as storms move into southern Arkansas and Louisiana through the afternoon, the more favorable combination of Cape and shear should exist. Along with the ongoing wind and local tornado risk with the band, potential for strong tornadoes are likely to evolve as part of progress eastward through the afternoon. So definitely a potential for a tornado outbreak is definitely going to be expected for this area as well.
Sure. And that's exactly why we believe that there's going to be a moderate risk introduced down in this area. For definitely strong tornado potential for sure.
Especially for storm chasers, this is definitely going to be dangerous because of the overnight risk as well as we're experiencing. Even Monday night into Tuesday night, if any storm chasers out there, definitely please be careful. These are definitely more unpredictable to track other tornadoes.
Exactly.
Even now, with even though we have newer technology, it is still very hard to predict a motion of a tornado because it can change in a blink of an eye.
Especially if you're chasing nocturnal tornadoes in Dixie Alley.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's definitely going to be one of the main concerns there. If you guys are definitely out there chasing, please be careful because there is a lot of terrain and a lot of trees that could block your view from seeing these tornadoes, and even just during the overnight hours as well as the sun sets.
And even once the heating of the day is gone, it's still going to be...
There's going to be a lot of energy with this
Absolutely.
system for sure.
So normally with the heating of the day, pretty much what the heating of the day is, like with the most like sunshine. The more sunshine is, the more juicy the atmosphere is going to be, and
Exactly.
the more sun you're going to get, the more stronger storms are going to be. And sometimes that's even not the case, but few and far in between, it's more likely to be the case. Even when the sun goes down, you still got that real strong possibility.
Exactly.
Because the dew points are definitely going to be in the mid to upper 60s, even when the sun goes down. So it's definitely still going to have that atmosphere to.
It's basically like a large boiling pot of water. You know,
Yes.
once you turn the heat off, there's still a little bit of residual heat there that'll still fuel that the heat going into the water there and that conduction. So it's definitely going to be an interesting event for sure.
And you're still in that warm Gulf moisture as well. So he's definitely being close to that's going to get those storms to be tapped in potentially as well.
And the Gulf of Mexico right now is almost an unlimited fuel source, for thunderstorm development.
And that's how Ian got as strong as it is, because there was no stirring of the Gulf to get those waters to cool down. So definitely that's what made Ian feel faster. So pretty much severe storms can be the same as...
Exactly.
Yep. Well, I was saying that right. I'm not
No,
just
it's fantastic.
Nice.
All right, guys, let's take a look at the reflectivity Tuesday morning through Tuesday afternoon. You can see these storms, they start to form out ahead of the cold frontal zone here. You can see they definitely increase in intensity, and you can still see these prefrontal confluence bands actually coming into the system and actually creating more of that wind shear. So you can see right here into northwestern Louisiana, right where those confluence bands meet, where the cold front's coming in. You can see how strong those storms actually definitely get generated to. So,
and you can see on radar like how it bows out, like right that kink right in that area right there. So even
there's so definitely if you live in northwestern Louisiana, definitely be on the lookout.
it looks like the Shreveport area right there in the corner of northwestern Louisiana there.
Even into southern Arkansas, look at these discrete like supercells embedded within this line. Definitely a QLCS threat. It's definitely going to be interesting. But you can see how the wind shifts also happen. You can see these arrows here. And that's going to be bringing in a lot of moisture into Louisiana. It's definitely going to be a soupy day for sure.
Big time.
And then just moving on into the evening hour. So we still see that this line is going to persist. It'll be moving off to the east. So definitely this is when New Orleans will get in on the action later on in Tuesday evening through the overnight hours into Wednesday. So definitely dark waters. Definitely be on the lookout. We'll definitely take a look at and see if there's tornado potential for that area as well. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of lightning. We'll definitely take a look at that. And then some of these Cape values, we got 2,000 to 3,000 joules per kilogram. So that's definitely a very buoyant atmosphere. And you can see these values are being advected onto the coastline, and you can see this nose here, and this is where it starts to get concerning when you see the nose like this, where you see this big sharp decrease in Cape values. So that might be where the SRH values come in, just to and the curved photographs, and that's exactly where probably we're going to have a focus point of tornadoes in northwestern Louisiana at this point.
Could even potentially have a PDS.
Exactly, yeah. I'm surprised, honestly, they don't have a PDS, on the actual sounding data. But you can see where that focus is, guys. We have a 50 to 60% chance of tornadoes in this region. And actually, some of these pink values are showing up, so that could mean even 60 to 70% chance of tornadoes. It's definitely going to be probably a 2 to 3 hour event here. At least here, so but within that window, that 2 to 3 hour window, we could definitely see some long track tornadoes starting to develop. So much like last year's tornado outbreak that occurred almost pretty much on the same day.
Pretty much, yeah.
But that occurred more north into Tennessee and into Arkansas, Tennessee. But much of the same down to the south here. Definitely a big tornado outbreak expected. All right, guys, let's take a look at the 500 millibar analysis for Wednesday. You can still see that big ski jump pattern going on here, but actually it's starting to get a more rotation up here to the north. We'll see more vortex values showing up there, and this is where the actual big blizzard event is going to be happening as well. It's going to be pushing off to the east. But right down in here, guys, you can see all these kinks down here in the big 500 millibar level flow. And right in here, where this big kink is to the north, and you can see this nose down here as well. it's actually pushing up to the north. You can see definitely New Orleans will be in the bullseye at this point, over into southern and central Mississippi, into Alabama, and even to portions of the Florida Panhandle as well. And this is the SPC outlook for Wednesday. So definitely just, with the same areas there. It's definitely interesting to see this kind of shape as well. It's hard. It's, we never get really this kind of, sort of point shape in the SPC graphs. And let's go take a look at the SPC data for that day. This would be
That'd be day 5?
Wednesday.
Wednesday, yeah. That'd be day 4.
All right, so ahead of this front, some severe risk continues to appear to be possible across the central Gulf Coast region. Questions do continue with respect of how far northward a warm, moist boundary layer will be able to advance into Alabama, though the latest run of the European model is a bit more bullish than past runs. Still, with the presence of cold air damming and the wedging, the front will be apparent across the northern portions of Georgia and Alabama. And it looks like they're not going to expand the risk to the north at this point, but it is certainly possible. It looks like they did take a look at that they might expand this risk up into the north. Further south, however, where favorable shear and a moister air boundary is, and wow, okay, that's interesting. So definitely a risk for damaging winds. A couple of tornadoes remains evident, and then even into Thursday, there's still a chance of that as well.
So you're like next thing in the Carolinas even.
Exactly, yeah. Which means that this system's definitely packing a punch if it can travel, traverse that far.
Absolutely.
But we'll definitely see. Let me see here. Sorry, I keep switching into here, guys. I just I like being prepared for some of this stuff. There we go. Alright guys, let's take a look at the reflectivity values into Wednesday, and you can definitely see this frontal system definitely pushing off very vigorously to the east, and you can see at this point is where it actually impacts the New Orleans area.
Yep, definitely.
And it's starting to impact portions of southern Mississippi into Alabama, eventually making its way all the way into the Florida Panhandle. And it's interesting to see some of these storms developing out ahead of this too. These could be some renegade supercells, right movers that are going to definitely take shape. So definitely
it's like
Florida,
Tallahassee, Pensacola.
Yeah, definitely a potential for water spouts along the coast here.
Oh, absolutely. So yeah, definitely boaters and shrimp boaters, people that are getting their catch for this, they definitely be aware of these storms as well. Even it's dangerous, especially like out in the open waters, especially in that area.
Exactly. Oh yeah, we could actually probably take a look at the wave heights too.
Probably could, yeah, definitely.
Take a look at that. But let's take a look at the convective available potential energy values for Wednesday morning and afternoon. So you guys can see this nose coming into central Mississippi, heading into Alabama. But you can see right down in here, down towards southern Louisiana, almost into the New Orleans area, values of 2,000 to 2,500 joules per kilogram. And then you can see this big nose down here starting to stretch in as well, 3,000 to 4,000 joules per kilogram. So it's definitely a lot of energy in the Gulf of Mexico. Now moving into the evening hours into Thursday, this is when the system ejects more to the east. We definitely see it starting to impact Florida and portions of Alabama a little bit more vigorously. So we have 2,500 joules per kilogram coming into Florida, and even all the way up through into southern Alabama, we still have about 1,500 joules per kilogram. So definitely even more buoyant atmosphere. And it's interesting to see that there's a little bit of system out here, so these two might actually interact. And that's probably why the Carolinas are definitely going to get on the action later. And this is pretty interesting stuff comes in, guys.
Even then, still a 30-40% chance of tornadoes is definitely nothing to go home about, especially. Exactly. That's the same amounts that we're going to see on Monday as well. So
exactly. Yeah, 34% chance of tornadoes just to the west of New Orleans, heading into New Orleans. So definitely dark waters. Be careful out there. And all of our listeners from southern Louisiana, definitely be careful.
Especially as we've seen in March with that area.
Exactly. Yeah, March 2022 with that EF3 that went through New Orleans.
So yeah, just this year just shows that New Orleans is definitely prone to tornadoes.
Exactly.
Especially.
It was crazy to see that too. It had a lot of horizontal vortices and definitely. I honestly don't know if there was loss of life to that, but I'm sure there was definitely something.
It's definitely property for
Yeah,
sure.
for that, definitely.
Which I wouldn't be surprised if Tornado Alley hasn't not been increased yet.
Exactly.
Which would
Yeah,
honestly would include parts of those areas.
Exactly.
Sure.
Like Dixie Alley tornado season. This should be highlighted a little bit more. And then taking a look at into Wednesday evening to into Thursday, definitely looking at a more increased risk of tornadoes here in the Florida Panhandle. But these probably water spouts coming ashore, 50-60% chance of tornadoes. So that's definitely a big increase. And I'm surprised the SPC only has a slight risk right now.
Yeah, 50%. I can see it possibly an enhanced risk in the coming
Exactly.
days. Fun fact before we go on, like my grandparents actually have a house in Myrtle Beach. It's like right directly near the state park in Myrtle Beach. And every time I go down there, like, if there's a storm coming, like I always want to catch a water spout coming in. Like as weird as it sounds, I'm not crazy do about that, but I always wanted to catch that. I was able to finally 2 years ago when I was doing it, I was finally able to catch a rainbow on the ocean. So now,
Oh man, that was beautiful.
Absolutely, and now I want to see as weird as it sounds, I want to see a water spout. That's the one thing I wanted to catch. Honestly,
Are you gonna go down to the beach and watch it come in, or are you gonna be up in in the safe area?
I'll probably be like Benjamin Franklin, trying to fly a kite and go into it.
You'll be Jim Cantori on the beach.
Yes.
The wind is epic down here. Oh man.
How to throw in that fun fact in there before we move on.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I mean, yes, take it seriously, but as people like us, we definitely
We're
always
definitely
see something like that.
We're definitely enthusiastic people when it comes to weather, especially when it happens in our area here in Pittsburgh. We're out there chasing and
yes. And I think I used to be afraid of thunder when I was a child. I used to wear these industrial earplugs, just hiding.
Do you remember that one time when we were at your grandma's house and it started storming like crazy and we saw the radar? We both ran.
Yes.
We were hiding under a desk.
And look at us now.
Oh, that was so funny. Oh man! All right, so let's take a look at some of these lightning flash density rates here, guys. Let me actually back this up a little bit into Texas here. I wonder if they'll actually have it. Okay. Curious to see if they're actually showing up here for. Oh yeah, here we go. So yeah, there's still even the new Euro model is still showing some of that some of the potential for thunder snow to develop here.
Absolutely. It's like
I was just curious to see.
Not Carson City. Because Reno's more north, so that might be Carson City, maybe.
Oh, I went too south. Oops. Didn't mean to do that. There we go. That's what I want to look at. There we go.
Some big time.
Oh man, you can see the big time flash rates there, guys. Stretching from central Texas all the way through Oklahoma, even into portions of Nebraska at this time, into Arkansas as well. And as the system continues, we move forward in time, start to see these white colors right here show up. That's over 2,000. So that's definitely going to be interesting there. And as we keep moving forward, guys, it definitely expands in intensity and coverage as well. Much of Louisiana at this point, this is moving into Tuesday evening into Wednesday overnight. But it's definitely a big severe weather event.
And even going into as far as central Illinois there.
Oh yeah. And this is where into Wednesday morning and Wednesday afternoon is where the lightning definitely starts to increase in the New Orleans area.
Yeah, you see some deeper purple, violets, even some white in some cases. And parts of Mississippi and Louisiana there.
If you do Dark Waters, if you do get a chance, if you're awake at that time, if you want to get some video of the lightning, that would definitely be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'd definitely love to see. And anybody listening as well, if you guys get any videos, pictures of any weather events going on in your area, definitely send them over. And if you guys have any questions, definitely feel free to ask.
Absolutely. And we can even feature something that if you allow us to, even on our YouTube videos, so you even get a chance to be featured on one of our videos as well. So we can do so safely. We'd love to see your pictures for sure.
interested to see. I wonder if the ARRR, it probably hasn't gone far enough out yet.
Probably.
I know it goes out 18 hours, right?
I believe so, yeah.
I know sometimes they do 48 hours. But, interestingly, let's see here. I kind of want to look at some of these winds that are actually going to happen over here. Oh, yeah, that's definitely 30 to 40 mile per hour winds, and then down into as the system.
56, 51, 54.
Check out some of these wind values down here in Mexico as this system digs to the south. 81.2 miles per hour wind gust. It even gets up to almost 84 miles per hour, 85. But yeah, definitely down through New Mexico, guys. Definitely watch out for power outages down there. 54 mile per hour wind gusts. Some of these may even reach 60 miles per hour. Yeah, that definitely was an interesting story, huh, bro?
Yeah.
Keith said interesting. I've never heard about that story.
Yeah, I tend to be a man of mystery sometimes, but now I'm starting to come out more like... Because it's crazy to think that at one time, the thing that we love, I was afraid of.
Exactly, yeah.
Because I actually had a conditioning called amplified hearing, which amplifies the hearing to like 10 times to what it is. So a simple sound could be piercing to my ears. And that was actually a cause of a razor piece of earwax.
Oh, okay.
Was actually in my ear, and I actually had to learn to speak against for speech and for hearing. So that's what mainly cause it could be grown out like me, like how it is now. And even there's still sounds, especially the emergency test in the middle of the night, where well, that's just anybody in general, but that's where the base of it came from. Was my fear, because I had to go to multiple specialists and they didn't know what was wrong with me. So eventually I had to go. We went to an ear, mouth, and throat dentist.
Oh, okay.
So that's where they found out. Okay, they had to pull out like an eraser tip. So imagine a razor tip, and imagine that being stuck in your ear, being stuck inside your ear, being pulled out.
Ooh.
And it was extremely painful. And luckily, I was able to relearn how to speak properly and how to listen properly. Just even now that I'm older, there's still some sounds I'm experiencing now with low pitch sounds, with people like talking low. I have a hard time hearing, but I'm just glad I was able to regain that speech.
Sure.
So yeah, I'm still like there's mumbling. I speak fast sometimes, but I'm just glad they were able to find that, and they'll be able to find the people that actually were able to. Yeah, I wanted to deeper dive in the story as well. So, so yeah, absolutely. Like, something like that. Like, never let it be like a crutch. Just be able to
keep on pushing. Right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Never stop chasing.
There it is, right there.
Yeah, I mean, my interest in weather actually started from the movie Twister. When I was 3 years old, I was just my parents were watching it on the TV, and I just. I was just enthralled by it. I was just, like, oh, this is interesting. And then actually from there, when I was 5 and 6, I would actually go on to my dad's computer and actually start going on to, like weather sites, things like that, and looking up certain things. And that's actually where most of my peak came in, peak interest in weather. Once I got to actually learn that stuff. And then, of course, when I got older, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, that's when I actually started researching some of the actual equations into it and getting some ideas and, asking people. And it was definitely a deep subject for sure.
Yeah, I remember the first site you actually got me onto was actually Weather. It was University of Michigan. And now it's got all sucked into... Weather Underground was pretty much. See, that was like the first.
Weather was very good.
Yes, it was actually our first real major. Well, before we actually had the World Weather Authority. Take a deep dive real quick for you guys where we came from.
The funny thing is, guys, I found Weather by typing in weather into the Google search engine, and that's exactly how that came about. Which it's a funny story, but it actually led us into. Getting into certain, more aspects of the radar, radar imagery, things like that.
And that's where I learned about vertically. I can never say. vertically liquid,
vertically integrated liquid,
yes,
VILs, yep.
yes. And that's where I learned about that, and I'm like, oh, like we always, whenever storms comes, we always share the link back and forth, just like, hey, look at this, it's actually really cool. And then
I remember being in study hall in like late middle school or high school, one of the two, and actually like seeing the vertical, the VILs in our area. See, I get mixed up with that too, but the VILs in our area actually going above like 90, which when a VIL goes above 90 in certain areas, even 80, that actually is representative of golf ball size hail. So and I remember seeing that, and I literally ran. I only got cell phone service in certain areas in my school, so I hurried and ran out the door, and everybody just looked at me like I was nuts. And I was messaging you at the time and saying, "Look at this," you know.
I'm like, even in art class, and I'm like just sitting there, and I'm like, okay, this is good, this is looking pretty good. And now like we know like photographs, all these different things that we've
definitely came a long way.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure.
I have to work on my public speaking skills still. I still struggle with that. I mean, I did pretty good in college, but for some reason I still have a tough time, with that. But I'm definitely working on that. Definitely getting my voice into a, more professional dialogue, things like that. And saying redundancies like I just did.
We are definitely pulling back the curtain for you guys to showing you a different side of actual more personal side of us.
Exactly.
That we are actually glad to share with you guys so you guys can know us more and possibly get a connection to you guys as well. And if you guys want to share your guys' weather experiences on the comments below, definitely feel free. We definitely would like to know what got you into like your most biggest like weather moments.
Exactly.
I remember in Snowmageddon, we were playing football outside in like 14 inches of snow, and like Mom was like, "Oh, it's time to come in for dinner." And I'm like, "Okay." My stupidity. I'm like, "Okay, there's a big snow mound, but it could be quicker than going to that." So my shoe got caught in like a huge hole, so I'm like 1 foot bare, walking like a foot of snow. Zach had to come running and like grab my shoe for me. So it was a fun time for sure. Just trying to.
We also invented a different form of sledding.
Yes.
You guys might think this is a little nuts, just a sidetrack, just to get, to get the sort of I don't know, but the one day. I guess it was after a snowstorm and after all the snow melted, and we just weren't done. We didn't have enough fun yet. So we actually got the sleds out and went down the actual driveway with no snow, nothing.
I don't know why we called it, but we called it ghetto sledding. I mean, yeah, eventually sometimes we had to use the trash can lids because the things were so scraped because my grandparents actually had a...
it was like a brick driveway.
Yeah, it was a brick driveway, so...
We actually used the term ghetto sledding at that point, and
it just sticks.
It was funny. It actually caught on in the neighborhood.
Yeah, and well, it didn't help the neighborhood that we kept running into the neighborhood's house, which used to be my house. So technically,
you were running into your own house.
Yes.
Oh man, we did so much.
We did.
Just and the sledding that we used to do, and things like be fun to actually recreate some of those events.
It would be, yeah. But who knows if our bodies will handle it? Here we are, like almost 15 years after the fact.
Exactly. Oh man, yes, indeed, the good old days for sure, brother.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it's definitely just to get to know us, a little bit more, just to delve into our backgrounds a little bit.
Absolutely.
Just to try to break the ice a little bit.
Absolutely.
Because weather is definitely a serious talk, but sometimes you have to add some comedy in there just to break the ice a little bit.
Absolutely.
But
going back to the topic at hand here.
Definitely. So let's definitely take a look at the blizzard situation that's going to happen up into the north, into Nebraska, portions of Colorado, Wyoming, Idaho, South Dakota, North Dakota, and definitely into portions of Iowa, Minnesota, and stretching into Wisconsin as well. Let's take a look at these snow totals first, guys. So we just march time forward here a little bit. You can see the system is definitely starting to progress into certain areas, and even just within a 3-hour time frame, some of these areas get over. Let me see here. I'm just curious to see. Yeah, so within a 3-hour time frame, you get 2 inches of snow added into this area. Oh man.
I don't know if you can see me now. Just like reminiscing just has me grinning cheek to cheek right now. But I need to get into that zone now.
Oh,
Going back
good.
into some more serious stuff here.
Nah, that's all right. We're good. Man, honestly, we had a lot of fun moments.
We did.
And there's going to be a hell of a lot more to come.
Absolutely. So, going back, like, we actually knew each other for well over 20 years now, and honestly, that it's hard to come by nowadays. And honestly,
it is.
I just want to say right now, thank you for letting me a part of these every day as well. So
sure,
it's
bro.
definitely a privilege and a privilege. Actually, learning along with you as well, because without you, there's a lot of these terms I would not know about. So, definitely, before we go, I just want to say a huge thank you to you as well, bro.
Well, I appreciate that. I definitely thank you as well for sticking by me all these years.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely, anytime.
You know, we've had our ups and downs, but, you know, everybody has their ups and downs. And, you know, to be honest, I probably wouldn't be in the same position without you, bro.
Absolutely.
So.
Same here, man. Just want to put that in real quick.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So. And definitely Keith, bro. Bro, we're going on almost 10 years, bro. Can you believe that? We're going on almost 10 years, brother. From the days of good old Walmart.
Oh, yeah.
And then we moved on to car detailing from there, and then we moved on to Shop and Save, and then you know, we kept in touch while you were out in Michigan, and then now you're back in Pittsburgh.
Absolutely.
And we're working together at, you know, we might not be on the same ship, but we're working together at Home Depot. So I mean, that's that's crazy.
Yeah, the first time I met you, I did that fall, and here we are. It's definitely good to have you back. Even when you were gone, I said, man, I wish I was able to hang out for you more, but now we have been. Hopefully we get great same memories we all have together. So definitely thank you for being a part of our lives too. So definitely.
And then to Dark Waters, since 2015, you know, when I first heard the Siege of Lockett Ranch, man, I was hooked. I was absolutely hooked on that story. I showed my entire family that story. My brother, oh God, he had that story on loop. You know, when I would go over to his house, we would play Call of Duty and stuff. And while we were playing Call of Duty, he had that particular video on loop in the background, and it definitely created some good memories for me. You know, and then it was funny because, you know, my niece was probably, I don't even know how old she was back then, but he would actually turn all the lights off and start playing that, and she would run over and start like hugging us and stuff, and it, you know, just. But, you know, the Siege of Lockett Ranch definitely made a big impact. I actually listened to that a lot whenever I used to work overnight. So definitely appreciate that. Definitely the best horror narrator out there.
Oh, big time.
For
big
sure.
Time.
There's no contest there. Dark Waters, definitely for sure.
Absolutely. I don't know if you'll get mad at me for plugging his channel, but if you do go so, definitely check out Dark Waters on YouTube. You will not be disappointed.
And definitely check out Dark Waters' website as well. You'll definitely find a lot more content on there. It's definitely an awesome website. I highly recommend Dark Waters. You know, he's been like a mentor to me for a long time. It feels like, you know, like I can't remember when the first time I started emailing him. I think might have been 2016 maybe. But yeah, there was a lot of stories like you know, Siege of Lockett Ranch, the Alaskan Expedition. What was I'm trying to remember. The winged ones. But yeah, I remember, bro. I remember we were working overnight, and I introduced you to Dark Waters videos. And man, that was crazy to see the look on your face when certain, like, because I knew, like, we would, like, Keith and I, we would sync, like, we would go to that website or go on YouTube and we would sync each other up. We'd be like, okay, well, I'm at this part, and then we would rewind and go to that same part. So that way we'd be listening to the same portion of that story at the same time. And then just looking over and seeing Keith's, like his jaw drop to certain aspects in that story was just, you know, it's awesome.
That's a beautiful moment right there.
Oh, for sure.
The reaction of people. Just
and then having, like, we watched it, and we listened to it here. With Natalie and you know, Justin listened to it too, so it was definitely awesome. My Uncle Joe has he listens to that all the time. So it's definitely a very powerful story, Dark Waters, for sure. You definitely did a hell of a job. I got the comic book as well, so that's the comic book is fantastic. So yeah, I definitely appreciate you being a mentor to not only me but to Justin and Keith as well. So we definitely appreciate that. All right, so let's take a look at the blizzard situation going on to the north in the northern plains, guys. So we step this forward. This is 36 hours out. This is when you can see the big time snow starting to develop into northwestern Nebraska. Certain areas definitely getting into the action of 5.2 inches, so that's definitely a major amount. And even some of these other down to the south as well. I mean, 3.9 inches and 2.4 inches in Nebraska is actually a pretty crippling event. So let's keep moving forward, guys. And this is when the big snow happens. 15 inches of snow within the next 48 hours. So that's definitely
a prolonged event for sure.
For sure. And then actually, if we move this all the way along to the duration of this system, we're looking at upwards of 30 inches in some of these areas. That's approaching 3 feet of snow. So definitely a crippling event. Definitely power outages. Very, very treacherous roadways, if not impassable. And this is even into portions of Wyoming, Colorado, and even down into Kansas, starting to get into the action too. I mean, 1.4 inches of snow into Kansas is definitely an interesting event happening there. And then we'll take a look at, let me see if I can get this right. I hope I can get this right. Sometimes data doesn't like to, winter data. Oh, there's forecast soundings on here too?
Nice.
I didn't know that. Let me refresh this because I think the data likes to disappear on me. Let's see here. See something. Sometimes I don't like the Collegeity page. Sometimes they have certain information on here that's really weird. You can rescale the imagery too. That's cool. I didn't know you could do that.
Hey.
Let me see.
Short range, long range.
I want to see how far the ARRR goes out. Just curious. Let me zoom out a little bit. There we go. They don't have it out yet. Dang. That's okay. We'll go to the North American model. Let me see. Convective weather and precipitation. 6 hour. That's just over a 6 hour period. So I mean, you're getting over an inch per hour in northern Nebraska, there, guys. I think Pivotal Weather has. I think they have like per hour snowfall, right?
I think so. Yeah, and there was something we even looked at before the thing, which I didn't even know about, with their little.
I think they have per hour.
6 hours.
6 hour, okay. Yeah, so about 7 inches in 6 hours. I mean, so that's that's over an inch per hour. Certain areas. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if there was like an inch and a half per hour in some of these areas with these bigger convective bands that come through. Let's see if they have any more. Man, they're getting freaking hammered. So I mean, within a 12-hour period, they're getting over 15 inches of snow. So that's like two inches,
roughly, yeah,
ish. Well, inch and a half or so. So it's definitely
still very impressive.
Oh, for sure.
The fact, yeah.
And then we can take a look at this freezing rain event that's actually going to take shape across portions of northeastern Nebraska, eastern South Dakota, into southwestern Minnesota, and into Iowa, which is definitely going to get a dangerous, very, very dangerous accumulation here. I mean, 1.16 inches of freezing rain. So it's definitely going to bring down power lines, tree branches, probably make roads and sidewalks impassable. So if you guys, tuning in from these areas, Iowa, Minnesota, definitely be on the lookout for massive amounts of ice. It's definitely going to make travel treacherous. What else we got here?
Yeah, a lot of weight expects to be on like the tree limbs and the
for sure.
Power lines definitely.
I can't remember. I want to see. I can't remember the exact value off the top of my head, what the weight of it is. Ice online, weighty effect. There we go. Yeah, okay, we'll go to this. We'll link this page in the description here, guys. So that way you guys can take a look at this as well. Lightning. Typical distribution. Nah. Oops.
So an inch of ice. So between an inch and a quarter of ice, so that's an 11-foot drop is what I noticed it?
Yeah, half an inch of ice causes a 1 foot drop. Wow. So I mean that'll be with an inch, an inch or inch and a half of ice. That's about almost a 3 foot drop, two to 3 foot drop on the power lines. So that's definitely going to bring down. That's probably going to bring down those power lines, for sure. Wind globe. Okay. Distribution lines are designed to handle up a half an inch of ice and 40-mile-per-hour winds. New transmission lines are handle 1.25 inches, so with no wind or winds up to 90 miles per hour. Still, I mean, I honestly think there's probably going to be a lot of. Hey, look at that, 1.25 inches of ice, 11 foot drop on the major power lines, like the big time power lines. So guys, yeah, definitely be careful out there in Iowa and Minnesota as this system comes through. It's definitely going to be a very strong one at that. I want to see, because the ice should be starting to form within 48 hours from now. Yeah, the dendritic growth zone. It's very low in the atmosphere actually too. And the OPRH values is slightly negative, so there's not a lot of icing going on at that time. Let's see here. I should probably look at the total freezing rain. Ooh.
So yeah, 1.25 inches looks like.
Oh, that's bad. That's bad. That's exactly what we just saw on that on that graph there. So I mean, the major transmission lines, you can see 11.6. Yeah, there we go, right there.
Yeah, negative.
Man, this is gonna be convective too. Look at that. Look at that other graph.
That's very impressive.
But yeah, the dendritic growth zone. It's a small area, but it's enough to create a lot. And then as the precipitation follows through here, guys, so you can see if you just follow this straight down, the precipitation will fall through, and then it'll actually go right into this warmer layer and then hit the surface below freezing. So it's definitely gonna create a big, major freezing rain event into northern Iowa and into southern Minnesota, guys.
Very impressive.
And then I'm curious to see what's going to happen in our area. I don't know if it'll go out that far. Actually, you know what? It's better to use cod. There we go.
So yeah, I mean a little icing in the central part of the So you're looking at Cambria County, Blair County, some parts of Butler County, Armstrong counties in our area, even some parts of Somerset. So even like
or half an inch up to the north, Butler County.
So yeah, quarter of an inch.
Quarter of an inch. And then into Somerset, same thing. So we're expecting probably about 1/4 inch, a little bit more of ice in those areas. This is valid through Thursday, December 15th. So this is definitely could be a major icing event into the mountainous terrain and up to the north as well.
Absolutely.
For our area. I don't know. Let's see.
Yeah, I've ventured out into this area before. It's definitely mountainous terrain in that area. A lot of
no snow. Oh yeah, for sure. Especially when you cross, like when you're going. I've driven to Chambersburg a couple times, and then you go over that highest peak in Somerset, and that's I couldn't imagine being in the Rocky Mountains and being a mile above the surface, but I think that peak is like 2,200 feet or something. Mm-hmm. Just looking down, because I actually pulled over on the side where there's a little parking area.
I remember because we actually right before you get into Johnstown, we actually drove right through that, so definitely know that area. Yeah,
it's interesting. You can park there and you can look down and look over the area.
Beautiful area, especially in the fall. If you ever get a chance to go to Laurel Highlands in the fall time for Pennsylvania, it's a beautiful area too.
That might be a good idea to, like in the fall, take the drone out there.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. Definitely something we can look into for sure. Fun fact: Johnstown actually has the steepest. What's it called? Not monorail. Crap! I went to school there. I should know these things.
Johnstown steepest.
Yes.
Curious now.
The incline. That's what I'm thinking of. Yes.
Okay. And
I went to school there, but I actually never got to actually see this.
Wow. Take a look at that.
Yeah. Definitely heard it's a beautiful view for sure.
Man, that's definitely very high up. This is Johnstown Incline Plain, huh?
Yep.
Okay. We'll have to take a drive out there sometime and just take a look at it. And
see I haven't been out that area since actually. I mean, I've been in the train multiple times, passing, but actually never.
Oh, okay.
Since I graduated.
Is that where the horseshoe curve is?
It's a little further in, like right before you get out. That's a beautiful area as well.
Yeah.
Definitely even see that even without even being on a train. Definitely because it was actually Flight 93 is out that way too. I actually cried the first time I was there. It was definitely a moving area, definitely in that area.
Unfortunately, I haven't had the chance to go there yet. I definitely want to visit.
And despite like all the what happened, it's a beautiful site.
Oh,
honestly.
for sure.
It is a great tribute to what.
Yeah. Wow. I'll have to take a trip out there one day.
Absolutely.
All right. Anything else to add, brother?
Definitely stay weather ready from the north to the south. Definitely potential of tornadoes in the Gulf Coast, especially in the Louisiana, Texas, Mississippi, Alabama. I keep getting Alabama, Mississippi confused. My apologies for that. And even parts of the Dakotas getting into the big blizzards as well potentially. So definitely stay safe. Make sure you have the right supplies to be ready for these storms. Food, non-perishable food, water, battery-powered radio, charge phone.
Exactly.
Definitely flip flashlights. Definitely hunker down in these areas for sure.
Oh, for sure. And then if you guys definitely check on the elderly neighbors you may have. They might not be able to get out, and their relatives in some of these areas might not be able to reach them. So if you're next door or you know a couple people in the area, definitely check in on them as well. Especially into the icing areas and blizzard areas up to the
absolutely.
north. If you can, definitely make sure you check on your elderly neighbors or just neighbors in general, just to make sure everybody's okay. Get the community together, see what's going on.
And also, we're expecting a major rain event as well in the south as well. So definitely.
I forgot to actually look at the rain totals there.
So definitely, as the saying goes, turn around, don't drown. You're not only putting your life at risk, you're putting other people's life at risk, and also the medical people out at risk. So definitely be mindful of them, be mindful of your surroundings. You definitely don't want to become another statistic in one of these as well. It's just simple.
For sure. Exactly.
I know it's a lost art for common sense, but please use common sense in these as well. In these areas as well.
Let's see. I'm trying to zoom in here. What? I didn't do that. What you doing right there? Alright. There we go. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're expecting... the models are predicting upwards of 5 to 6 inches of rainfall into portions of central Mississippi, heading into, actually stretching from Louisiana all the way up through Tennessee, guys. A swath of, an inch and a half all the way up to 6 inches. So it's definitely going to be a major event.
Yeah, the excessive rainfall outlook actually currently has it at a slight risk at the moment for excessive rainfall. So definitely be on the lookout for that as well. Oh, there we go.
Definitely want to take a look at this.
Mm-hmm. So we currently have a marginal risk in the Carolina coast there from San Francisco all the way to Los Angeles at the moment.
There it is.
Day 3 right there, yep.
Try to zoom in a little bit. Memphis is included in that as well.
Absolutely.
Little Rock, all the way down through Shreveport, Monroe, Jackson, Lake Charles. Ooh, Lake Charles got hit by, the past couple seasons of hurricanes.
Yes. And even as happened New Orleans in the marginal risk as well, which they could possibly give them a slight risk as well. So definitely.
Yeah, it's not too far from the slight risk. If you zoom in here, look, it's not very far. If you just go over from St. James to New Orleans, it's not too far.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to show one more thing. I just want to show you guys what our channel is actually, is capable of here.
Absolutely.
Just to show you guys what we have in terms of software. It's definitely interesting to see here. But we actually have access to 3D data as well.
Oh, yes, right.
Just to show you guys. Hopefully this loads properly. Hopefully I'm not. Maybe I should probably get rid of this. There we go. We should be okay there.
You just want to make sure you're covering all angles of the storm here as well.
Oh, exactly, for sure. But, let's see. We will go to... this is actually a program known as Radar Omega. Definitely highly recommend it. It's a very, very good software. It is a paid software. Currently, it's about... I think I'm paying like $12.83 a month. So, it's not like... it's not unachievable. But for all the actual... things you can do on here. It's definitely worth the money for sure. You can get the base model also, which actually the base model includes the 3D as well. It's like $9.99 a month. Radar Scope is another good one. They don't have access to 3D data, but you do have access to radar data. That's $9.99 a month, or sorry, $9.99 a year. So that's definitely more budget friendly.
Mm-hmm. Even some free sites I go on sometimes. Ventusky is the one that I use sometimes. Is a good one. that shows like Cape values, winds, and all that stuff. So definitely, Ventuski's another good one if you're on a budget, and it's free as well. So definitely one I recommend as well.
I hope they have 3D on the satellite. They used to. I know they used to have 3D. Is it, maybe it's radar. It used to be satellite, too. Let me see here. Let me see if I can get this to pull up. It definitely is, brother. Like I said, radar scope is the more budget friendly of the two. They do have 2 tiers though. Tier 1 is sufficient enough. Tier 2 is just like if you're out storm chasing, that's $99.99 a year. But just tier 1 is $9.99 a year, so it's definitely worth the money. I think it's $10.69 after tax. But it definitely keeps you informed. It sends you the warnings in certain areas. You can actually type in locations. Just say if you were heading to North Carolina or South Carolina and you wanted to be informed of the weather that's going on there, you can actually have that program send you that data, which is pretty neat. Let's see here. Yeah, there we go. That's what I wanted. Take a look at some of the snow. The system that's coming in. I hope this isn't going to run slowly. Sometimes it does. There we go. Yeah, it takes a long time sometimes to load. Maybe. There we go. That might work. Zoom in a little bit. Alright, so you see this button here, it says 2D. You just hit that button, you can actually change it to 3D, and you can check this out. And we might get some ASMR from Hopper scratching the back of the chair. We have everything here.
We do.
But check that out, guys. You can actually see the 3D model of the actual storms, which is actually really cool. It's neat. It's neat, especially during hurricane season. Mm-hmm. But you can actually loop this and see the certain echo tops and how high the storms are actually reaching. So this is definitely worth the investment. Radar Omega is a fantastic software, and thank you, Hopper. Hopper is a cat.
Yeah.
She loves, she's our mascot. Let me see. I could have sworn that you could do satellite data with this. Apparently not, though. I don't know. You used to be able to do satellite data 3D. It's very weird. Unless there's just another way to do it, and I don't know. Don't remember how to do it. It could be. But yeah, this software has everything: severe weather outlooks, tropical weather outlooks, hydrologic outlooks, which is like excessive rainfall outlooks, fire weather, which is definitely we could be coming up on fire season here. Next year, the beginning of next year. So winter weather, MEDAR data, which we'll make a video on what MEDAR data actually is. It's interesting to decipher it. It's kind of hard, but interesting. Marine tool, surface fronts, weather alert settings, storm reports, lightning detection. You can actually look back a couple years into the next radar data.
Nice.
And you can actually look at the spotter network. So you can actually, for example, if Reed Timmer's out there chasing, you can actually click on spotter network and actually track where he's actually at that particular location. And he's actually live streaming on Radar Omega as well. So you can actually see his live stream on Facebook, YouTube, or you can see it right here on Radar Omega. So it's definitely interesting.
Definitely multi-feature for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And one more thing. Let's take a look at... if you guys go to windy.com, windy.com is a very interesting website. It's free. You can see right here. You can get premium if you want, but I don't have premium. I invested in Radar Omega and Radar Scope. But this is an interesting software because you can actually take a look at the sea surface temperatures. You can take a look at cloud bases, the visibility, the waves, and you can actually look at the forecast up to like 7 or 10 days out, and it's pretty accurate. So I definitely want to take a look at some of the wave heights in the Gulf of Mexico real quick. Where we go? Waves. Just to to see when the system comes through. I just want to see if it's going to create any. There we go. Zoom in a little bit. Yeah, so I mean 9-foot waves. So that's not bad.
Not bad at all.
And
7 foot that.
move over this way a little bit. 9 foot. Yep. So
So
yeah, I mean,
5 to 7 feet.
exactly. Yeah, I mean you could basically look at all this stuff. Definitely recommend looking at windy. Ventusky is also a good one. I think there's one called. EarthNull. This is another good one. Earth.nullschool.net. It's basically the same. Let me get rid of our radar omega so it doesn't slow down our processing speed here. Hi, Hopper.
Hello.
But this is cool because you can actually look at the entire 3D globe on this one. And if you go down here, but this one has limited features. This one doesn't have as much as windy or Ventusky, but it has a fair amount. And what's interesting enough here, you can look at the pollution across the globe, things like that. You can actually see it in 3D, which is neat. It's nice. It's nice to see things, on a 3D surface. But anyway, that's probably about it.
Absolutely.
But definitely, guys, everybody who joined the live and everybody who watches this afterwards, we definitely appreciate it. I definitely still want to try to do certain things in the future.
Absolutely.
We
we definitely want to do more storm chasing next season.
Oh, for sure.
We only went once this year. So
Yeah.
our schedule was just
Our schedule was too wacky. Like I start work at 5 in the morning and work till 2:30 depending on what's going on, and you usually close.
usually like in past
the evening
he usually
shift
comes in. I'm usually leaving. So.
But yeah, we're definitely going to get together. And then Keith and I are going to start a new channel. And like I said, you're more than welcome anytime to join that as well.
Absolutely. I think I have a couple discussions in mind for sure.
Sounds good.
Possibly we can dive into Irish and Gaelic mythology for sure. Definitely a topic I've been interested in for a little bit now. So.
But we're definitely going to try to spread the educational background of certain mythologies. And bring to light some of the truths actually in them, because the religions around the world, you never know, there's certain truths about them and there's certain myths. So we're definitely going to go into all that. And I definitely thank you, bro. We definitely appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Keith, great session tonight, my brothers. Thank you for joining the session and supporting the channel for everybody. Definitely,
thank
Keith.
you for sure.
I'm definitely going to make sure, Keith, that you were labeled as a moderator tonight. Definitely appreciate you for helping that. So we're definitely gonna have you as a moderator for sure.
You are the mod father.
All right, guys. Definitely appreciate it. Definitely be careful with the severe weather events and the blizzard events and the heavy rainfall if they are impacting your neck of the woods. And always remember, guys, never stop chasing.
Beautiful.